So welcome to the session of storage area networks. We are concentrating on in this section introduction to the information storage, data center environment, data protection and intelligent storage systems. So before going in depth of what do you mean by data centers and how do we do the protections in the data and what are the intelligent storage systems are available, first we need to understand what do you mean by informations. For that we need to go in depth what do you mean by information and how information is generated. Before that the information, who's the information generators, and for the generated informations, how it is stored, that we are studying it. So let us understand what do you mean by data. Data can be a collection of row of facts, okay, from which the information is drawn. Okay, usually whenever we communicate with the any technologies, the data will be generated, but that data is nothing but the collection of raw data. It is nothing but a raw data, row of facts. So what are the facts which are we are using it? So for example, let us consider we have a handwritten information, okay, and we have a printed books, and we have a photographs, and we have a movies and video clips. These are all called as a data. So these datas can be generated by using a computers. Generated computers, the information which is generated in the computers has to be stored in the form of zeros and ones. So these zeros and ones which is stored in the computers is called as a digital informations. So nowadays we are using a digital informations, okay, digital informations everywhere. These digital informations is easily accessible due to some external factors. What are the external factors? We have very less data processing capabilities now. That means we have a high speed computings and all. So we are spending very less time for performing the data processing operations. So for that purpose the digital informations is more popular. The second one is ability is less cost compare nowadays due to the technology transactions. The storage capacity will be less cost. For that purpose the digital informations are becoming wider and it can be used it. Okay, the third factors how actually the data is increasing is through communication capabilities. We need different communication capabilities, so which can be transferred our data very easily to the system within a fraction of seconds. So and we use some smart devices for performing the communication operations, very fast devices for communication operations and different applications. So different applications we use for performing the operations. So by using this type of capacities, digital informations becomes wider and the informations are stored everywhere. So that means data is stored in everywhere. So these data has to be extracted by using some information storages, okay, has to be extracted from information storages. See, the data which we have discussed, so we can be classified into different types of data. We can define the type of data into two types of data. One is called as structured data, so where the data can be stored in rows and columns, and that means we use some DBMS concepts for storing the informations in the data. So we use we have one more type of data by the name called unstructured data, where which cannot be stored in the DBMS in the sense that all the data will be stored in the rows and columns. So we can classify those types of data. For example, if you want to get a customer details, that customers details may get the informations by using a sticky notes or by using an email messages or by using the business cards like that. So those informations cannot be stored in rows and columns. So for that purpose we need to have a special types of informations, something called big data. Okay. So that means the data which is having a large in sizes in the form of volumes, okay, in the form of versatility and in the form of diversity. So such type of data which cannot be stored in the rows and columns, and the data of the volume is larger. At that cases we need to store the informations. In that cases we need to use some special techniques for converting our data into a informations. Okay, what are the special techniques we are using it? Data science is a special techniques or method or methodology adapted for handled large volume of data, versatilities and diversities of the data. Okay, for that purpose we need to have special algorithms and we need to have a special methodology has to be incorporated for extracting the data from the big data by using something called data science, wherein which this data science will use us mathematics and statistics approaches and data visualization tools as well as computer science concepts. So by using data science like statistics, mathematics and data visualizations and computer science, we develop a different types of algorithms to extract the informations, to handle the information, so that the decisions can be taken from the data, whether the data can be stored in the process or it can be given to the end users like that. So this is the one part where the information where our information storages contains the data. The data can be a row of facts, and these data is stored nowadays in the form of information storages. These information storages can be represented in the form of digital forms. Now the digital forms are very easy due to the higher capability of data processing and low cost of storage capabilities and very good communication capacity now available due to the technology aspects, as well as we use some smart devices and applications for building the data. So from these data we need to extract the informations and we need to identify how do we store those informations. So now this whole data can be divided into two groups. One is by structural data, another one is a unstructured data. Structured data are the informations or the data which can be stored in the rows and columns. Whenever we are storing the information in the rows and columns, we are using a software called database management system for storing the information. Similarly, we have unstructured data which cannot be stored in the rows and columns, so which cannot be handled by the DBMS. So those data can use some techniques for extracting the informations, something like big data. Okay, big data is a data which contains both structured and unstructured data and which is having a large in sizes, and we have a different features. We need to extract it. To perform such type of operations, to handle such type of operations, we need to use a data science methodology. Data science methodology adopts mathematics, computer science and statistics approach and data visualization tools for developing algorithms for extracting the informations and storing the informations in a particular way. So this is one thing. Now let us understand what do you mean by informations. Okay, information is nothing but an intelligent and knowledge which is driven from the data. We have a large number of data. All data cannot be used by the users. For that we need to extract the information from the data to, and we use for a particular purpose. For example, we have a different assume that the students are applying for applying job in the job portal. So all the students are may not get the job, so and a few peoples are getting an opportunity from that databases which is stored in the data. How it is done? The data which is stored in the data disks is being extracted as an information, so relevant informations. For example, so people who are posting their jobs in the Naukri.coms and LinkedIn and Shineshare.coms like that, those data are collected in the locations, and they are added some skill sets also in that job, in that resume. That resume will, whenever we are extracting the resume, we extract the resume through the keywords which is stored in the database. We are not extracting all the resume which is available in the databases. We extract the relevant data. For example, the data science resume required for software engineering. So the software engineering resume is only extracted and it can be incorporated. Once again, the software, there are many resume like hardware, electrical resumes and civil engineering resume and computer science resume, like that. So the software company needs only the software resume. At that cases, the data from a large number of data like say civil resume, mechanical resume, electrical resume and computer science resume, only computer resume will be extracted and it will be printed. So that is how the information is extracted. Now we need to understand what do you mean by storages. Okay, so storages is nothing but which can be store the informations in a storage devices, a data and the informations which data which is stored in the storage devices is called as storage. Okay, so these storages may be used by can be stored by using a mobile, normal mobile, so by using a memory chip. Okay, and or we can use we can use to store the informations through the discs, DVD disc and CD-ROMs, hard disk, like that. So that is called as a storages. That means any data which can be placed in some places, so is called as a storages. Like that, the information and the storages is combined and the information is generated by the users has to be stored in some devices. So now let us understand evolution of storage architectures, how actually the storages which is done has been evoluted in the sense that like we can store the informations in a server centric fashion, we can store the information in the form of information centric fashions. What do you mean by server centric informations? What do you mean by information centric informations? We are going to discuss. Now let us understand how the storage architecture has been evaluated. Now let us understand how the storage architecture has been evaluated. So the storage architectures can be evaluated into two categories. One is server centric fashions. What do you mean by server centric fashions? That assume that so each organization has their own department. For example, in a MIT we have a different types of department like computer science department, electronics department, civil department, mechanical department, like that. So each department will be maintaining its own servers for storing its information, and that information is being managed by the system administrator, right? So such type of information cannot be shared by the other people, okay, and it is preserved and the privileges will be given to such department to access those informations, like that. Such type of data storing, okay, such type of storage architecture development is called as server centric storage. Okay, these server centric storages is also called as centralized environment. That means one department have their own specific servers for storing the information and accessing the informations in it. Okay. So whenever we performing storage informations, usually we use some, earlier days we are using some tapes, even now also we are using the tapes for taking the backups, but usually we store the information in the form of disks. So as I was telling that each information is being stored in the department wise. So why do we store the informations in the department wise? Because we store, we have open systems. Open system means like in each department can have their informations by its own, and it cannot be shared by the other departments. So it's having its own informations in it. And if they need any extra informations, we need to go for a other type of storage architecture, which is nothing but the server centric architectures, okay, or information centric architecture. So what do you mean by that? That means instead of storing the informations by a department wise, like department 1 and department 2, like that, so let us store all the informations in the form of shared pool, okay, through on demand, by using a networks, by using the network. So let the department may access the information, the required informations in it. So such type of information is called as server centric informations, so that instead of using a individual administrators in the each departments, we can put one administrators who can manage the shared pool for accessing the informations by the different departments, and all the department informations can be shared if we are making a information centric storage architectures. Like that, the informations can be divided, okay, evolution of the storage architectures can be divided as a server centric storage architectures and information centric architectures. Now let us understand how these data architectures, how these architecture contains, okay, that means what are the infrastructures has been incorporated whenever we are using these data centers. Now let us understand data center infrastructures. Data center infrastructures. So whenever we are talking about the data centers, what are the infrastructures available in the data centers? So first we need to use some applications. So we need to use some applications for accessing a pool of data for the each department. Even here also, whenever we are accessing the informations, we need to access the information through the applications only. So that is the one of the infrastructures we are incorporating in the data centers. Okay. The second thing is we need to use some storages methodologies, some like DBMS and all. So whenever we are storing the information, the storing information has to be stored in the rows and columns in the storage devices, as I was telling that, by using a disk or tapes. Okay, this is the second infrastructures we are using it. Along with that, we make any one of the storage information as a server, as well as we use an operating systems for accessing the information. That means we develop a computer platforms to run applications in the databases. That will be done by using the servers. Okay, if you want to use an applications and if you want to use the databases, we need to use some server as well as the operating systems, where the operating systems will manage us of accessing the data and providing the data to the requested users. Along with that, we use some networks. Okay, we use the network, different types of networks for communicating for the each department. So the whatever the data which is requested by each department, so that each department will be extracted from the shared pool by using the networks. So these networks will be accessed by using a client server operations, or by using server as well as the storages. Instead of directly accessing by the client, the one server or one department will be acting as a servers. So and then that server will be interacting with the storage devices. These storage devices will be interacting with the server, then server will be provided to the another servers. This is the second part. And the fifth infrastructures which we are using in the database is nothing but the storage arrays. So that means the data which we are storing is not done by a single disk, not stored in the single disk. So the data which is stored in the shared pool will be stored in the multiple disks. So we call it as a storage array. Okay, this is one thing. So whenever we are dealing with these types of operations, we need to understand a few characteristics of data centers. What are the few characteristics of data centers? What are the characteristics? The characteristics may be characteristics of data centers. So whenever we are dealing the informations in the data centers, we need to understand some characteristics of the data centers. So what are the characteristics? Different characteristics we have to deal with the data centers are characteristics of data centers. So the first characteristics of the data centers is first made it into a availabilities. So let us make all the informations which is asked by the each departments is available all the time by using different types of techniques. For example, some department may ask higher informations, immediately that information has to be shared. The same information is asked by the other department. So our operating systems and the server has to manage the client operations as well as the storage area and make the informations requested by the each department or the client immediately. So all the time we have to make the informations as available. The second thing is we need to perform a security operations. Okay, that means so each information which is stored in the data has to be given to the particular person itself. The other person cannot, who is not privileges of accessing the data may not be given to the other people. We have to, the operating system or the administrators should maintain the security aspects. The third one is scalability. So assume that some data may asked by the department may be asked by the other department also requires immediately. At the same time both the department requires the informations, but the capacity of the network as well as the operating systems to provide the information to the department is limited. At that cases we need to add a external storage array and make the system scalable to the system. Okay, scalable to the system. That means at any cost the data should not feel that it's not available for the requested person. So whenever we performing such type of operations like availability and security operations and scalability, we should also maintain the performance of the operations which is done it. What is the operation? That means providing the informations to the end users, requested end users has to be maintained. So that end users has to be maintained with the optimal levels. Optimal level in the sense that everyone should access the informations and everyone should feel that the requested informations is available whenever it is performed the requested by the end users. The second one is data integrity. So we know that whenever we are discussing about whenever we are talking about data integrity, so whatever the information which is stored initially by the department has to be placed with the meaningful word. It should not be a confused that So, or if any error is present in the data, has to be removed and the relevant informations only stored. Okay, that means the data which is stored in the data centers is having a data integrity. That means there is no error like that. Okay, and the sixth one is storage capacity. So, whenever we are dealing data centers, the data center should have a sufficient storage capacities. We have to handle the storage capacities. So, if the storages is not available, so we need to add a extra disks for storing the information. That means minimal data center data capability should be there. And the next one is management activity. As I was telling that, so all the operations will be done by using the operating system as well as networks. Okay, this management activity has to be done with some software applications, something like monitoring the end users. Monitoring also should be done. Along with that, so if the monitored information has to be reported for further applications, and it has to provide a capacity planning and resource planning also should be done. Okay, so all these operations will be done by using the operating systems. The operating system and the server will manages the monitoring, reporting and planning and resources. These are the informations, these are the key characteristics of data centers. If I am telling that there is a data centers which is a server centric or a information data centers, and which has the infrastructures of the application databases, operating systems and network and storage arrays. So these data centers should have some characteristics. That means it should have a availability, and it should have a security, and it should have a scalability, and it is performs the operations optimally, and data integrity should be maintained. That means no error should be there while we are storing the informations or providing the informations to the clients, and the data capacity should be sufficient in the data centers, and manageability has to be done through using a efficient server as well as the operating capabilities. The management capability is nothing but, so all the operations in the infrastructures has to have a monitoring softwares. Each department should know how much data are available for providing the informations, and where the data has been stored, and each operating system should generate the report for each department, so that they can keep their informations for analyzing the operations. And the third one is, if the capacity is not available, so we need to add a extra disks. Capacity planning also should be maintained, and also resource planning also should be maintained. Resource planning in the sense that whether the data is stored in the informations can be copied into the another data center, so that these storage devices is not accessible due to some network problems or on demand problems due to higher usages of the department. So it can be accessed through the other department. Like that, resource planning also should be done. These are the available characteristics of data centers. Now let us understand what do you mean by virtualization and cloud computing. Virtualization and cloud computing. So now these two concepts are widely used in present technologies. All the students and all the IT peoples are talking about the virtualizations. What do you mean by virtualization? Virtualization is nothing but a technique, okay, which we are using in the data center to abstract the physical devices. Abstract the physical devices in the sense that we have to make a copy of the physical devices, and that copy of the physical devices has to be maintained in the form of softwares, so that instead of directly interacting with the hard disk, we are dealing with the software of the hard disks, and whenever we require actual information is required from the hard disk can be extracted from the data centers. That means so that we can avoid directly accessing the disk and manipulating the data in the disks. So if you are using the virtualizations, so virtualizations can be applied in all the stages in the data centers. So what are the stages we can apply virtualizations? The virtualizations can be applied by using a computing. So whenever we want to compute any operations, the processing operations, in that cases we can apply the computation virtualizations. So virtualizations can be applied through the storages. So as I was telling that we are not directly accessing the disk, we are accessing the virtual abstract of disks. Okay, abstract of disks. So that is one thing. It's not only computing and the storages, we are also using networking as a virtualization. So the virtualizations can be used in the data centers in all the stages, while computing operations by the users, as well as while storing at the shared pool or at the networking. So networking can be done in different forms, like networking can be used by using a resource optimization and storage optimization. Resource optimization in the sense that the information is providing for the end users can be shared among the different peoples. So such type of thing can be used as a computing. While we are computing the operations, that computing operations can be shared by the many users. Okay, and it can be used in the storage resources also. So as I was telling that in storage also we can perform the virtualization. Whenever we are performing the storage virtualizations, we perform the storage virtualization at the pool of resources. As I was written here, pool of resources, we can perform the virtualizations. Next we are talking about what do you mean by cloud computing. The word cloud computing is used for using the services of a computer networks. Okay, using the services of the networks, we perform the operations of storage, computing, as well as the networking. Okay, so whenever we are using whenever we performing the operations by using a cloud operations for making our data centers efficient, we use a CPU sharing for rent. Okay, instead of using the actual computing operations, we use computing operations by some high-end things, and we are renting the cloud computing. So or else we can use the data transfer operations. Okay, data transfer operations by taking some operations. So this is comes under the networking, also can be done cloud computing. Okay, next we can use a gigabytes of data can be shared by different users. All these can be rented and give a high-end processing operations if you are using a cloud computing. Cloud computing is nothing but by using a IT technology, we are sharing the informations of storages, computing, as well as the network. Thank you.